81b. Schluss of our learning. Have the base of English.
I get lost. 81b.
81b. And Surfside should have Yeshua. And the Refuah Shalema for Yechiel Nassim Ben Sarah.
Sarah.
Is that? Sarah. Okay, we're going to start. Achal Eichlin Shein Ruyin Lachila. It's on Hey Aleph 81b. Someone eats food on Yom Kippur that's not fit for eating, so it's not edible. So pater. Yeah, that's what the Mishnah says. So Amar Rava says Kas Pilpuli B'Yom Kippuri pater. Someone chews peppercorns on Yom Kippur. He's pater. So Rameshi used to grow pepper in Eretz Yisrael. I read in the comment on the Steinsaltz that pepper usually comes from India, but there are certain places in Eretz Yisrael where it can grow.
It has a very Mexican
Uh-huh.
so that's where we live.
Kas zangvila, b'yom kippur. Kas means to chew, but it means any sort of eating that's not a regular food. If someone chews, zangvila is ginger. On Yom Kippur, in Yiddish, on Yom Kippur he's exempt because it's not really edible. It's a piece of wood. Meisvei, the Gemara has a question. Hey, Reb Meir would say, it stood from what it says in the pasuk. Period. The pasuk says that when you'll come into the land, you'll plant a fruit tree. So, for 3 years it should be. Arla. So that means that you don't eat the fruit of the new tree for 3 years. It's called Arla. So any Yedesh it's Michael. If it's talking about fruit trees, that you're not supposed to eat the fruits. Don't I know that it's talking about fruit trees? It has to say if you plant a fruit tree and you have the fruits of the tree. If it's fruits of the tree, then it's a fruit tree. Why does it say in a tatim kol it's Michael? So the Gemara says, Eitz shatam eitz per yeshava. It's talking about a tree that the wood and the fruit taste the same. And this is referring to peppers. Not our peppers, not bell peppers, but peppercorn. Yeah, why did they make the name for pepper same as pepper? I mean, it's totally different. No?
Why?
I mean, that's not fair. Give it a different name. And we're learning the Gemara. Unless I say clearly that it's black pepper, people are thinking about yellow and orange. Okay, but whatever the case is, that the bark of the tree and the peppers, does it come in a cone? How does it grow? Does it come in like a pine cone, like you get the nuts? So but this is teaching us sheha pilpulin chayavim ba'arla. It hangs from the vine, so you have to wait 3 years. What else? And also, Eretz Yisrael is not lacking of anything. You even have pepper in Eretz Yisrael. That's what this pasuk is telling me. What's the problem? Oh, wow. Very nice.
Black pepper.
Let me see. Black pepper. You shows me a picture of a green pot.
Oh, yeah.
Is the inside
It's probably
totally black, or you have to dry them? Okay.
It's probably what they can see.
Yeah. So they turn black.
Yeah, but it starts open, probably changes color.
In the picture, it looks like the sea grapes. They like hang on okay. The question here is that Rava says that if you eat pepper, your on Yom Kippur, your potter comes along, Reb Meir, the Brisa, it says that pepper is chayiv in Arla. And Eretz Yisrael is praised by this, that look, Eretz Yisrael has everything, it even has pepper. So we're seeing that it really is edible. It gives a simple answer, like kasha. Haberativta be a best. It depends how it's if it's fresh or if it's dried. If it's dried, you can't eat it. If it's fresh, you can still eat it before it dries, maybe in the green or something. Right. This Gemara is in Brachas also. In Brachas it discusses the bracha. I mean, the bracha is going to come up in a minute, but this is a big discussion in Brachas. Amalei Ravina leMereimar. Ravina says to Mereimar, Amar Rav Nachman. There were two statements over there from Rava. One was someone that eats pepper is not considered that he ate anything, and another thing is if he eats ginger, it's not considered that he ate anything. Problem is, Ravina says to Mereimar that Rav Nachman says, "Hai hi malta dasmi behandui." This ginger dish that comes from Ethiopia, Sharia, it's permissible to eat. Now there's a problem. There's two possible problems when you get food from a non-kosher place. One is that maybe it was made with treif. Another one is that it's bishalakum. A non-Jew cooked it, not allowed to eat it. So the rule of bishalakum is only if it can't be eaten raw. Carrots and tomatoes and this, if those are eaten raw, so someone could cook tomatoes. So that's not a problem because you could have eaten. It's only something that can't be eaten raw. Well, I would have said fish, but it's not true anymore. Potato, right? Potato. So what we're seeing over here is Sharia. It's totally permissible. What's the reason? Because let's say there was non-kosher meat that was cooked in the pot that this was made with. So this is such a distinct flavor that any other flavor that would have gotten into this would have been nice and tamlef gam, would have been a flavor that's not a positive flavor, which would make it nullified. And so we don't have a problem of treif. What about bishalakum? So the answer is that it's eaten raw. Eaten raw, that's going to be a problem because we're saying over here that it's not eaten. And also another point, Ian, it says mevarchim Allah b'yirkei hadama, and you say hadama and you eat ginger. Yeah, you hear? You say hadama on it. Sounds like it's something edible. If it's really something that you eat on Yom Kippur in your example, because it's not food, so what's going on over here? So, like kasha, habretivta be a best. It depends if it's dry or if it's fresh. If it's fresh, then it's edible. That's what we're referring to here. But if it's dried, then it becomes like a piece of wood, which it is like a piece of wood. And if you eat it on Yom Kippur, you're not chayiv. Tanrabanan achal ali kanim pater. Someone eats the leaves of reeds, is exempt. Lulve gafanim. If he eats the sprouts that sprout from the grapevine, the fresh sprouts. So that's chayiv. I never heard of eating that, but apparently, if you can eat bamboo sprouts, you can eat this also.
Right.
Oh wow! This is
yesterday's lesson.
the professor has.
You see this, we talk about sizes.
These are sprouts.
It's from the grapevine.
No, that's from a bean. Brussels sprout. Very cool. So he's going to be chayiv on Yom Kippur if he eats sprouts. Elu hein lulve gefanim. When you say the word elu, usually it means these are. but I saw in the dictionary, the dictionary with the aleph on it. I got the one that made it. No, it's not Shoshan. It's a Talmudic dictionary. Frank. Yitzchak Frank. Rabbi Frank. Anyway, in that dictionary, he says that Elu means which. So he translates the Mishnah, Elu Mitzia Shalai, Elu Chayv Lahav. He starts stuff. These are the Mitzia, which are, Elu Mitzia Shalai. Which are yours? Which are Chayv Lahav? Elu Mitzia Shalai. These are the ones that are yours. So it makes sense now. So Elu over here means which. Elohim Lulve Gefanim, which are, or what is the branches, the sprouts of the grapevine. Rabbi Yitzchak Magdala, he's not very common. Rabbi Yitzchak Magdala. In Bab Metzia, in El Metzias actually, he's the one that claims that if you find coins in the shape of a tower, a large coin, a quarter, a nickel, a dime, that's why I remember his name, because Magdala, like a tower.
Found the old Magdala.
Yeah. So what does he say? He says, "Kol shel lav levai min Rosh Hashanah v'ad Yom Kippurim." If it's sprouted in between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, and now he's eating it on Yom Kippur, so it's very fresh. Rav Kana Amar Kol Shloshim Yom. Rav Kana says 30 days. Tanya Kavasei de Rabbi Yitzchak Magdala. There's actually a brisa that supports Rabbi Yitzchak Magdala. Achal alikanim pater lulvei gefanim chayev. If he eats the leaves of the reeds, he's exempt. We're talking about on Yom Kippur. He's exempt. If he eats the sprouts of the grapevine, he's chayev. Elohim lulvei gefanim. These are the sprouts. Kol shalav levayim Rosh Hashanah v'Yom Kippurim. If it's sprouted in between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, so it's within 10 days old. So that's going to be fresh sprouts. That's edible. That's fresh.
3 days old.
So you sprout them yourself.
Yeah.
So what is that? Just regular
Mung beans. Mung beans and put them in water and move it.
sprout. Very nice. And the dates and the grapes are not from your tree.
No, but you were talking about the size and with the pits yesterday. Remember? So there's a pit in there. Yeah.
Beautiful. Very nice. What is that? Oh, yeah. This is for yesterday's shiur. So there's a date, a large date. That's what we're learning. And then this is a large olive. This is a Zayas Aguri. No, we didn't have it in this tomorrow. But it like holds the oil inside. So yeah, this would be twice the size, which would mean that the egg was somewhere similar to the egg, right? So an egg, somewhere it says that it's twice the size of an olive. I'm not sure where we know that from. Okay. Shasa tzir imorius is pater. If he drinks brine or morius or other brine, either meat brine or fish brine, I think, yeah. Okay. Ha chaymetz, but if he drinks vinegar, then he's chayev, because it didn't say that, right? Masnis and mani. It could have said that if he drinks vinegar, he's pater. It didn't say that. So who's the author of our Mishnah? Rebbe. The Tanya was taught in a brayso. Rebbe Amar Chaim. It's Meshivas Nefesh. A sip of vinegar. That's good. That's like
like tequila.
Tequila. Doesn't it turn? It turns your lips blue. So. Yeah, I can imagine probably like a balsamic vinegar. It could be a little bit, or the apple cider, white vinegar. I can't imagine anyone taking a sip of. Okay. Darash Rab Gidl Bar Menashe. So, okay, our Mishnah can't fit with Rebbe because Rebbe would say that, I'm sorry, our Mishnah does fit with Rebbe because Rebbe says that vinegar is something that people would feel relaxed after drinking, and that means that would take away their hunger. So if that's the case, then on Yom Kippur that would be satisfying. Darash Rab Gidl Bar Menashe Miberi Dinarish. Rab Gidl Bar Menashe taught. He came from this place, Beri Dinarish, and he taught Ein halacha Rebbe. We don't pass him like Rebbe. Someone that drinks vinegar on Yom Kippur, he's exempt. from Karis. L'shana, the following year, Nafki Kuli Alma, Mazka V'shasu Chala. They went out and they drank vinegar, passing around little vials in shul. So Shama Reb Gidl Vikbid, Reb Gidl hears and he gets upset. Amar Ema Damriana Dievid, I wasn't talking about that you're going to go around and do this. If you did it, you're exempt. Not that you're supposed to do this. L'chatchila mi'amri, did I say that this is what you're supposed to do? Ema Damriana Porta, I was only talking about a little sip. Tuva mi'amri, they're taking big swigs. Ema Damriana Chai, I was talking about when it's undiluted. Mazig mi'amri, if it's diluted, was I referring to? We're talking about pickle juice now. Like it's that's already something that's possible to drink. Okay. So yeah, that's why we always say that Daf Yomi is not a halacha shem. Next year is going to be eating pepper and ginger and vinegar. Okay. We have a new Mishnah. Hatinoikes in ma'ananos in b'yom kippurim, aval mechanchanesan l'fnei shana l'fnei shenasayim b'shul shirgilim b'mitzvos. This was a very difficult piece of Gemara for me for two reasons. The first reason is I don't know what the numbers are in the Gemara. But the numbers when it's gonna give us some ages. Say Ben Ches, an 8-year-old. Does it mean that he's reached his 8th birthday, or does it mean that he's in his 7th year? Or a 9-year-old. In his 7th year, he was already in his 8th year because he's in his 8th year because he's already 7 years old. So he's starting his 8th year. Okay, that's one problem. The other problem is when I read the Mishnah, I didn't read it. I didn't realize what it meant. Here it says, you don't afflict the children, young girls, on Yom Kippur. But you train them. L'fnei shana. L'fnei shana, I thought meant the year before. Right. But from the Gemara, l'fnei shana means before the year. L'fnei shana means 2 years. L'fnei shenasayim. And before 2 years, that means 3 years. Right. So that they should be accustomed to the mitzvah of fasting. Now we're talking about not fasting a full day. Now we're talking about you train them for a few hours. The Gemara is going to explain. How does it say this? So when you're buying something and the seller says, yeah, $5-10. So you hear that it was $5 and he heard $10, right? So over here it says 1-2 years before it. So what are we talking about? 1 year or 2 years? If you have to train him 2 years, so then it's obviously that you're training him 1 year also, right? So Amar Rav Chisda like Kasha habachayla hababari. There's no question. Those two dates, those two ages in the Mishnah, were referring to different people. If he's a strong person, it's 2 years. If he's a weak child, then it's just 1 year. Okay, here's where it gets. To me, it was very complicated. Let's translate it. This seemed to work. That's Amar Ravuna. Ravuna says Ben Ches Ben Tes Machan Chanes L'Shais. Let's translate it as an 8-year-old. An 8-year-old and a 9-year-old, you train them for hours. We're going to see we're dealing with a girl. That's her bas mitzvah is at age 12. The way it works is like that's called the perek. Reached her pirka. She reached puberty. Samach lepirkan would mean an 11-year-old. Lefnei shana, we're going to see, would be a year before that. Lefnei shenasayim would be a year before. Actually, Lefnei shana would mean 2 years before that, because Lefnei shana. Oh, okay, so an 8-year-old and 9-year-old is trained for hours. Ben Yud Ben Yud Aleph mashlimin midirabanan. A 10-year-old and an 11-year-old, they complete the fast. They're not bas mitzvah yet. It's rabbinic. If you take just just one of the numbers, because we're dealing with a strong one and a weak one, right? So we just take the weak one. So it goes like this. Ben Yudbeis Mashlimin Midaraisa Betinekis. A 12-year-old finishes the fast. So let's just take the weak child, the weak girl. She is 12 years old, she finishes the fast. Minat Torah. 11 years old, she finishes the fast. Midarabanan. When she's 9, and 10, then when she's 9 and 10, then she's practicing hours. So we're talking about 9, 10, 11, 3 years before her bas mitzvah, she's already practicing the fast. Rav Nachman says, Rav Nachman's just going to be talking about the boy. So it's a year later, but he's not arguing with Rav Huna. Ben Tessa ben Yud mechanchanais l'shais. A 9-year-old and a 10-year-old are trained to practice, like delaying breakfast. That's what it means, hours. You delay breakfast. Ben Yud Aleph ben Yud Beis mashlimin midirabanan. An 11-year-old and a 12-year-old complete the fast rabbinically. Ben Yud Gimel mashlimin midiraisa betinak, and a 13-year-old is completing the fast midiraisa by a boy. Okay. Yeah, there is a Yerushalmi that has a story about a father that was pushing his son to fast and the child died. So it's discouraged to push a young child to fast. You push them to eat, not to fast. They like to because it's like I'm older, I'm a big boy. But this year I'm gonna fast. And say, yeah, okay, until 10 o'clock. You show them something that they like. Okay. Rabbi Yechanan says, Hashlama de Rabbanan Leka. Where do you get this from? That you have to finish the fast before bar mitzvah, before bas mitzvah. There's no such thing. There's no rabbinic law that you have to do that. Ben Yud Aleph Mechan Chanais L'Shais. Ben Yud Beis Mashlim Midaraisa by a girl. She's 10, she's 11. She practices delaying breakfast. And when she's 12, she fasts. Okay. We have this thing that 3 fasts before the bar mitzvah. Yeah, I don't know where that's from. Okay. I can see someone fasting before Yom Kippur. He's not going like Rabbi Yechanan. He's fasting before his bas mitzvah, before his bar bas mitzvah. He's not following Rabbi Yechanan. He's following the other opinions, and he does like one fast or something. Okay, Tanan, it was taught in our Mishnah. Atinaikas, this girl, does Tinaikas have to mean girl or mean children? Children. Could mean children, right?
Tinokois. Not tinokes. Tinokois means children.
Tinaikas is children. Ein man and nice in Yom Kippurim. You don't afflict them on Yom Kippur. You don't have them do the whole fast. But you train them for hours, which means you delay breakfast. Now, when do you do that? L'fnei shana, before a year. L'fnei shtayim, before 2 years. Now, the Gemara understands it like this. Bishlam l'Rav Huna v'Rav Nachman l'fnei shana, l'fnei shtayim, l'fnei shana l'divrayim, l'fnei shtayim. It's supposed to say l'divrei Torah. So it worked like this. Why does it say 1 year? Why does it say l'fnei shana means a year before the year? Before the year. So it means 2 years. Now, or l'fnei shtayim, or before 2 years, which means 3 years. Where do you get 2 and 3 years? So it explains. Because Rav Huna and Rav Nachman both hold that there's 1 year that you have to complete the fast because of rabbinic law. So it's 2 years before the rabbinic law of fasting, which that would be, let's say if it's a girl, she fasts when she's 12 biblically, 11 rabbinically, 10 and 9 is when she fasts according to, is when she does these hour fasts. She delays breakfast when she's 9 and 10. And so what does it mean, Lifnei Shana? What does it mean? What does it mean, Lifnei Shana? That just means 2 years before the rabbinic fast. Lifnei Shtayim, that means before the biblical fast. Okay, so we're dealing basically with 3 years of preparation. Elul Rabbi Yochanan, that's what the Mishnah would be referring to. Rabbi Yochanan Kash, Rabbi Yochanan says that you don't have this sort of preparation. Lifnei Shana, Lifnei Shtayim, according to Rabbi Yochanan, what's it going to mean? 2 years before? If you're dealing with a chayla, so Rabbi Yochanan's opinion was that a 12-year-old fasts according to the Torah, an 11-year-old and a 10-year-old, that's 1 year. In 2 years, they practice hours. The problem is, the Mishnah says, Lifnei Shana, Lifnei Shana, I need 3 years. Amalach Rabbi Yochanan says, My Shana, L'shtayim, Samach L'pirkan. Okay, now this gets edited out. I understand that, at least from Rashi, that what he's trying to do over here is he's trying to take the word lifnei and not read it the same way that we were reading it before. Read it. Lifnei shana means from a year before. Lifnei shnayim means from 2 years before, but not lifnei shana, not before the year before. Okay. Tashma was taught in the Brisa, the Tani Rabba Bar Shmuel. Rabba Bar Shmuel taught, doesn't sound like a Brisa to me, but it doesn't sound like a Tana. There's early Amiraim could be mentioned in the Brises. It says Chinaikis ein ma'anen aisan b'yem kippurim, ava mechanchen aisan shana ishtayim samach lapirka. Here it doesn't say the word lifnei shana lifnei shtayim. Here it says that you train children a year or two before their age. Bishleim Rabbi Yochanan nicha. According to Rabbi Yochanan, it's good because it's only a year or two before their puberty. El Rav Huna Rav Nachman Kasha. According to Rav Huna Rav Nachman, you need another year in there. Amalach Amrilach Rabbanan. The rabbis would say, "My chinuch." What does it mean? You train Nami Diktani Hashlama. It's talking about that you complete the fast. Mikar lechinuch hashlama. Does training mean that you complete the fast? We always thought training was that you practice delaying breakfast. But Tanya Ezeh chinuch. What does it mean to train, to practice education? If they would eat breakfast 2 hours into the day, so they delay breakfast for 1 more hour. And Yom Kippur breakfast is a little later. If they would eat 3 hours into the day, they eat breakfast at 4 hours into the day. And not that you complete the fast. So Amarava Barula, well, it's education, and there's 2 types of education. One is where you do just practice, and one is where you do it for real, but it's still practice. You do the whole thing, but it's still practice. Right? Mishnah says, Ubra sheiricha machilanai sachetashv nafsha. A pregnant woman has a craving. She smelled something. So you feed it to her until she gets her senses back. A sick person, you can feed according to the experts, which would mean the doctors. But if there's no doctors there, he can say that I feel like I need to eat until he says it's enough. Okay, so we're going to trust his opinion to eat. We won't necessarily trust his opinion not to eat, but we'll trust his opinion when he says he needs to eat. Tana Rabbana, we'll go back to the case of the pregnant woman. Ubra sheiricha b'sar kodesh b'sar chazir. Let's say a pregnant woman smells karbanos meat or pig meat. She says, "I need that. I have a strong craving." Yeah, I would imagine something closer to a cheese Danish, but okay, whatever it is. So Teichon Lakush Bereitiv, you take a Q-tip or a toothpick, you put it in the gravy. Minichan Lalpia, you say, put it on your mouth. You say, "Is that good enough? Are you satisfied now?" So in the Siash Vadaita Mutav, if that settles it, then good. Bimlav, but if not, then Machil Nesaretiv Atzma, then you give her the gravy. When Mesiash Vadaita, if that settles her, Mutav, then good. Bimlav, Machil Nesashuman Atzma. You actually feed the actual meat to her. She'ein l'chadavar she'ein min ruknei pekuach nefesh, because there's nothing that stands in the way of matter of life and death. Chutz me'avodah zarah v'gilei arayis v'shfichas damim, except for those three cardinal sins of idolatry, adultery, and murder. Okay, now the Gemara is going to go through this, but to make mention of the Glickle of Hamlin, that book where her and her mother-in-law were having a baby at the same time, and one of them had a craving for some sort of fruit that was in the marketplace, and when the baby was born, it was born with blotches on the skin. So they sent the maid down to the marketplace to bring back the fruit, and they put it on the lips. The blotches went away. So anyway, she says about these cravings, she says, there's no rule, but sometimes they're real and sometimes you can never know. Okay, so yeah.
She had the blotches, or the baby had blotches?
The baby was born with these blotches on the skin, and her craving apparently had affected this. The craving was coming from the baby. So yeah.
When you're saying that sometimes you know if the cravings are real or not, just mean that some of the women are honest about it.
No, I think it means some of them you have to take serious and some not, but you never know. So
Maybe the women will. It's like a kept secret that they will not pull it out. It's not the entire species.
yeah, and this goes way back. So this is already in Talmudic times and Mishnaic times that these cravings existed. When was she around? In the 1500s, I think. Avodah Zarah Minalan. How do we know that you don't violate Avodah Zarah even if it's a matter of life and death? Titania was taught in a brisa. It's probably Rabbi Eliezer Reimer. It says you have to love Hashem with all your soul. Why does it say you have to love Hashem with all your money, all your might? If it says with all your might, money, why does it have to say with all your soul? It is possible, or it's probable, that a person cares about himself more than his money. So just because he has to love Hashem with all his money, so that doesn't mean that he's going to love Hashem with all his life. So he has to say, with all your life.
It's a Jack Benny joke. A thief sticks him up, says your money or your life. So let me think about that. Jack Benny.
He was Jewish, right?
Yeah, of course. One of these comedians from the 50s, 60s.
Right. So
he was reading this Mishnah.
Yeah, he was reading the Mishnah. That's why it says with all your soul, because a person would care about his soul more. Just because it says that he's going to give all his money to Hashem or whatever. But sometimes it's the other way. Sometimes there's a person that he cares about his money more than himself. So it says you have to love Hashem with all your money. Yeah.
Didn't you say before that the Yitzhar of money came around later?
Yeah.
So So why would there be someone that cared more about the money than themselves? Time of giving the entire house. Abnormalities, but people still care about else today. It's not the mess.
I don't know the answer to that. Mendel is asking an interesting question. It says that the Anshe Knesset G'dayla took away the Avodah Zarah, the Yitzhara for Avodah Zarah. So we mentioned that it went into money. So the comment Alter Rebbe that maybe it wasn't worth it. Whatever the case is, that if that's the case, that means that before there was no Yitzhara for extra money. I mean, money is you want to buy items, but then there's the Yitzhara that you want money for no reason. Just like, what do you need that for? You don't need it. A guy, he inherited like a lot of money, but millions and millions. But a relative inherited more, so he's fighting with him over the extra. Like, what you really, you really don't need that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, so but that's, they want the extra. So where's that? If in the time of the pasuk wasn't necessary to say that a person should want his money more than his life. He wants whatever he needs.
But Yaakov Avinu, it was a good thing.
That we have the Yitzhara for now. And like you also says that your money is like your life, right? So it's interchangeable. Like the extra money isn't like your life. That the money that you need to keep yourself alive.
So that would be the pasuk. This is referring to the money that you need to keep yourself alive. I'm sorry.
Well, by Yaakov Avinu, when he went back, right? He that was a good thing. Right. The tzaddikim are like that they care about their money more than their life. That's not Yetzer Hara, it's like a Yetzer Hatov.
That's interesting. Saying that Yaakov Avinu went back and really risked his life to get those small jugs, and that was considered something positive, that he cared about his money. Yeah, and over there it says because it's they have to make all their money honestly, so they take their money more serious. It's not given out by the government and that. Okay, that's the first rule. The first rule is that a person has to give up his life for Hashem, not to worship idols. That's that's the quote here. And how do you know that for adultery and for murder, a person has to give up his life before he commits those sins? The Tanya was taught in the Brisa, Rabbi Yomer, as a person will come onto another and kill him, so is the same matter. This is referring to a girl that's raped, a betrothed girl that's raped. What is it teaching us to this girl? It's coming to teach, but it's also coming to be learned about. Just like by an Aramarasa, he's allowed to kill the attacker. So too, by a Reitzeach, he's allowed to go and kill a attempted murder. He's allowed to stop the person. Now it goes the other way. Just like by murder, someone says that unless this person kills someone else, he's going to be killed. So he has to allow himself to be killed. Also, when it comes to adultery, the person says, if a person is told that he's going to be killed unless he commits adultery, he's supposed to allow himself to be killed. He gets killed and not violate the rules. And how do you know about murder that a person is supposed to give up his life before he kills? So Gemara says svara. Svara here, it's a svara. The Hudasal Kamei de Rabba. Person came in front of Rabba. Amalei, he tells the Rabba, Amali Mari Durai, the master of my town told me. Turai is my dwelling, my dear. Mari Durai, the master of my village. Play sick. Katli Laplanya, kill so and so. The Eloi Katil Nalach. And if you don't kill him, then we're going to kill you. Amalei. So Rabbi tells him, Naktalach Tiktal. Allow yourself to be killed. Don't kill the other person. My chazis the dama didach sumak tvei. What do you see that your blood is more red? Dilma dama du gavra sumak tvei. Maybe his blood is more red. There's one life is going to be taken. How do you know that it's supposed to be?
So it's an expression that everyone's equal.
Right. Hahi ubra the archa. There was this pregnant woman that she smelled a something that gave her a craving. Asal kami the Rebbe. It came in front of Rebbe. They said, what should we do? This woman is saying that she needs this. And it's Yom Kippur. Amalei zilu l'chishala diyem de kippur. Go whisper into her ear that it's Yom Kippur. L'chushala. He whispered into her ear. The chisha, and she accepted it. Kari Allah, he said about this. Before you were formed, I already knew you. Nafik Mine Rabbi Yechanan. That child was Rabbi Yechanan. Yeah, in the biography of Rabbi Yechanan, you have to put that in. Before he was born, his mother, Yom Kippur, smelled. Okay.
What did she smell?
She smelled something, some sort of food that she was craving, and they told her it's Yom Kippur. She didn't. Yeah. No, pass me that chumash. I want to show you something. Let's do the next. Hahu Ubra, there was a pregnant woman, the archa that smelled and had a craving. Also, Kami de Reb Chanina came in front of Reb Chanina. This is earlier. Amalu, he said to them, L'chushala, go and whisper to her. V'layel chushala. But she didn't accept it. You know, she still wanted it. I don't care. So Kari Allah, he said about this, Zayru Rishoim Merechem, the strangers already, the wicked from the womb. Nafik Minei, Shabsay Yatzer Peri. Yeah, this is a bad guy that we never heard of. He would, during the famine, he would hoard food to spike up the prices and then to be able to make more money. Right. Okay. Okay, so I want to show you this one. Where is it?
Diamond dealers, I don't know. These are the beers.
Yeah, there's a pasuk at the end of Shmini. It says, it talks about the laws of the animals. It says, "Lahavdil ben atame ben atar," to distinguish between the impure and the pure. Ben achaya and acheles, between the animal, the wild animal that you can eat. Ben achaya shalei seichel, and the animal that you can't eat. So I don't know where this is from, but there's a problem. It's not symmetrical here. Ben atame ben atar. It should say ben achaya asher lo seichel. Ben achaya asher anacheles. Tamei tar. So they translate it like this: Lahavdil ben atame and ben atar, to separate between the impure and the pure. Uvein hachaya hanacheles. The chaya is a woman giving birth. On Yom Kippur, they whisper to her, "You don't need it. It's Yom Kippur." So ben achaya nacheles, that's the tamei. Ben achaya shaloi seichel, the one that doesn't need, that's the tahar. That's the anyway. That's a shot there. Okay. Yeah, let's leave it over here.
What's this enormous Tosfos here?